All right, welcome everybody, members of the media, friends of WBDC. I'm Fran Pastori, and welcome to our press conference where we will be talking to our very important stakeholder, JP Morgan Chase, for their very generous contribution to the Women's Business Development Center's Equity Match Grant. We'll tell you all about that in a minute. Right now, I'd like to introduce our panelists. First and foremost is our Lieutenant Governor, Susan Bysiewicz. We're also joined by the Vice President of Global Philanthropy, Rafia Zaire Udine, my colleague, Brenda Thicket, who is the WBDC's Vice President of Programs and Services and is responsible for the Equity Match Grant Program at WBDC. And honored also to be joining us are two WBDC clients. I'm honored that they're joining us. We have Jonah Jeffcoat from Southington, Connecticut. She owns Infinity Musical Therapy Services, and Kenisha Boyd from Hamden. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I'll turn it over to the Lieutenant Governor right now.
Well, good morning, everyone, and it's so nice to be here. And if you see, I'm in this very elegant background. I'm at a testing site, COVID-19 testing site in Vernon. But they're very nice to give me a little corner to help get the word out, to spread this exciting announcement that JP Morgan has given $300,000 that will be used to help fund the next round of equity match grants for women and women of color-owned businesses across the state of Connecticut. The WBDC has been around for 25 years, and they have reached every one of our 69 towns to help women entrepreneurs. And since they began in 1997, they've assisted more than 18,000 women and over 15,000 clients to date. It's very exciting because here in Connecticut, the women that were supported by the WBDC have started over 6,500 businesses and supported the creation of 8,100 jobs. So these are very powerful, impactful women. And this year's Equity Match Grant application opened yesterday, January 17th, which I think is so appropriate that it opened on MLK Day, and it closes on February 13th. And we want to encourage any woman-owned small business owner to apply for these funds. You are eligible to apply for from $2,500 to $10,000. And these are grants. I want to say that again. These are grants. These are not loans. And we decided on the grant model because we heard from our constituents all across Connecticut that they didn't want to be burdened with additional loans or debt. And we also started this equity match grant program because after seeing that the PPP federal loans went to 80% male-owned businesses and 80% white-owned businesses, we thought, Fran Pastori and I, that it was time to create a program that focused exclusively on women-owned businesses and women of color-owned businesses. And so we've been really, really proud of our efforts to promote equity and opportunity through these equity match grants, and 33% of them have gone to women of color-owned businesses. So we know that opening a small business is really hard work. There are always unforeseen costs, and with the pandemic and with supply chain issues, there are all kinds of challenges and pressures on women-owned small businesses. And here's the great thing, that the WBDC is all about helping the small businesses address all of those challenges, from helping to create a business plan, marketing plans, expanding product lines, or pivoting due to COVID-related challenges. The WBDC is there to assist business owners. And so far, the WBDC has provided more than $21 million in capital to businesses to help them keep their doors open. And this is really important for our state, because over the past 2 decades, Connecticut's women-owned businesses have grown 56%. I'm going to say that again. Over the past 20 years, women-owned businesses in Connecticut have grown 56%. I will say I am the chair of the Council on Women and Girls, so whenever I get to brag on women-owned businesses, I'm going to take that opportunity to brag about them. And these businesses, many years, account for $16 billion of the state's gross product. So this is a big deal for our state. It's about jobs, it's about equity, and it's about helping families across the state. Some of the equity match grant recipients have used the grants to purchase new equipment, to help them pivot to sell other products or services. And you're going to hear from some of these business owners. And it's been an incredible privilege to visit some of these businesses. Jana visited your beautiful business in Southington. It's very unique. I don't know if there's another business like yours anywhere in the state, or maybe even in the country. And the other thing that I want to give a shout out to the WBDC for, and let our constituents know, that the WBDC has helped our state respond to the need for more childcare programs by including childcare business support and mentoring programs to help women entrepreneurs who want to go into this critical business that has been the key to keeping our economy open, but also to address a huge gap in childcare need that we have in our state. So I will just end on this note, that I've had the opportunity to visit businesses that received equity match grants, and they, the one thing all of those equity match grant recipients had in common was that they had been mentored by the WBDC, and they had been able to receive PPP. They had been able to receive EIDL funding. They had been able to receive HEDCO funding and some of the other programs that are out there, even local economic development programs that the city of New Haven and the city of Stamford have. So my message to any entrepreneur or small business owner, whether you are a woman or a man, the WBDC helps male-owned businesses too. You need to get on their email list. You need to start that relationship, because it is critical to a successful business. I want to thank everybody for having me, and encourage people to apply for this second round of equity match grant funding. Fran Pastore and I have been out there beating the bushes, talking to private banks and financial institutions, private individuals, and companies like JP Morgan, who have stepped up in a very big way to help us. And the other thing I will say is no company has said no to us. The banks have been incredibly generous, and also Fran is very persuasive, I'll just say. So with that, thanks so much for having me.
Governor, thank you. You are Justin, first of all, thank you for your leadership around this program, and you're like the biggest cheerleader we have anywhere ever. So thank you so much for what you do for women in our state, and your voice carries so much weight. You are a role model for so many women, and we're just so grateful for your endorsement of our work, because we have a great team at WBDC, and I'm so proud of the work that we do. And it means so much to us that you are out there for us and you believe in our work. So thank you. And thanks for everything you're doing for Connecticut. I cannot underscore enough how meaningful this gift from JP Morgan Chase is to WBDC. I will share with you that 25 years ago, Chase was the first company that gave WBDC a grant when we were just starting out. And in fact, we opened up our first ever checking account at the JP Morgan Chase branch in Stamford on Prospect Street 25 years ago with a $60 check to open the account. And it's just remarkable. Here we are full circle with this very, very special gift that will be matched by the state of Connecticut through Commissioner David Lehman's office at the Department of Economic and Community Development. And again, thank you, Susan, Governor, for your leadership. And with that, I will turn it over to Rafia, the Vice President of Global Philanthropy for JP Morgan Chase. Thank you so much.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me today. My name is Rafia Zahiruddin, and I'm the Vice President of Global Philanthropy at JP Morgan Chase. In my role, I oversee the firm's philanthropic investments across Connecticut. And I'm thrilled to be here, albeit even if it is virtual, celebrating the Women's Business Development Council and their incredible work across Connecticut. The organization is a leader in supporting women-owned businesses launch, grow, and create good jobs throughout the state of Connecticut. We're thrilled to partner with the Women's Business Development Council through their technical assistance, financial education, and access to capital programs. They're ensuring that the business community in the state continues to thrive and innovate. Today's event marks the launch of the Equity Match Grant Program's 4th cycle, which gives women-owned businesses the opportunity to apply for microgrants. JP Morgan's investment in the organization will continue to build upon the success of the program and ensure that small businesses have the opportunity to grow, be profitable, and really ensure their long-term sustainability in the state. I'm looking forward to the new ideas that are going to be funded in this next cycle, and I'm so excited to hear from some of the previous grant recipients around their experience as well. In 2020, JP Morgan Chase announced our $30 billion racial equity commitment. As part of this commitment, we're investing $350 million globally to support Black, Hispanic, Latino, and women-owned small businesses. To that end, Women's Business Development Council has been a leader in ensuring that they place an emphasis on supporting women of color, and that hasn't gone unnoticed by JP Morgan Chase. As I conclude, I really want to thank Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz for her support on behalf of the state and her continued work in being a champion for the Women's Business Development Council. I also want to thank Fran Pastore and Brenda Thicket and their entire team on the success and impact of the Equity Match Grant Program. And I also really want to acknowledge their tireless work and effort in ensuring that they're meeting the needs of the small business community during this unprecedented time. JP Morgan Chase is thrilled to support the Women's Business Development Council, and we're looking forward to the continued success of the organization. Thank you.
Rafia, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today. I know that you're so busy with managing your role, so thank you so much for being here. The Lieutenant Governor talked a lot about kind of the genesis behind launching the Equity Match Grant Program, and I'll just expand on that just a little bit. We have to date in less than 18 months made 98 grants totaling nearly $1 million to businesses throughout the state of Connecticut. And those grants have been so meaningful because part of the application process is to determine how you are going to pivot your business. Our goal was not to provide operating grants, not to provide operating funds, but to give business owners and entrepreneurs, and most of our clients are sole proprietors or single member LLCs, but it was to give them the latitude, the space to pivot their business by coming up with an innovative concept or idea, right? And so we wanted them to kind of think out of the box to talk about how they could use their money to do something that they hadn't been able to do because of a lack of funds. And we have 98 fabulous stories with great results from all over the state. I'll tell you that 57% of those 98 women-owned businesses increased their revenues. About 30% of them created or maintained new jobs. And the application process is such that we will, as the governor said, mentor and coach you through that process so that you can receive the capital you need and use the equity match grant to launch yourself into launch themselves perhaps into receiving a line of credit from a financial institution, maybe a small business loan, because what we're doing is building a relationship with these clients so that you tell us how you've achieved your goals, and we can share that with all of the investors in this program like JP Morgan Chase. And I really believe that that's something that sets WBDC apart, is that we're not just providing funds, we are doing what we call post-grant technical assistance and pre-grant technical assistance, right? We want to ensure success, and we want to make sure that we're good stewards of private and public dollars that we are entrusted with. So with that, I will.
And Fran, I just want to add one thing, because I realize that we did not make this clear. The reason that we call this the Equity Match Grant Program is because the Department of Economic Development matched dollar for dollar the funding that Fran and I raised from financial institutions and companies that were so generous to step up and help. But this is a public-private partnership. And it is the Department of Economic Development. It is some great businesses like JP Morgan stepping up. And it also is key that we work with the WBDC, a nonprofit. So I did want to say that, Fran, because when you were talking, I realized we needed to point that out.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And I have to stand corrected myself because I understated our numbers. So in terms of increased revenues, about 71% of the 98 grant recipients have increased their revenues, 56% increased their profits, and 44% created 76 jobs. Over 23 of those companies created 76 jobs. So 44% of those businesses increased their headcount. All right, with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Brenda Thicket, WBDC's Vice President of Programs and Services. If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand, or you can put your questions in the chat for the media that's in attendance, or anybody else that would like to ask any questions. I'll try to respond to it in the chat, and we will also pose the question to our panelists. Thank you again, Brenda.
Great, thank you so much, Fran. And thank you again to JP Morgan Chase for your generous support of WBDC and the Equity Match Grant Program, as well as DECD and our other donors. As you have heard, the grant program continues to support women entrepreneurs across the state, helping them by investing in their businesses to help them grow. I think Fran and the Lieutenant Governor went through, I think, all the stats on the previous rounds we've done. I think the other piece that's important to note is we have so far funded businesses in 52 out of Connecticut's 169 towns. So we are have a broad footprint across the state and looking to continue to expand that as we continue. As you heard, round 4 of the grant opportunity opened yesterday, and businesses have until February 13th to apply. The eligibility criteria can be found on our website, but businesses must have been in business for at least 2 years and have revenues between $25,000 and $2 million and owned by a woman in Connecticut and the business registered in Connecticut. And as Fran and the Lieutenant Governor said, we are looking for projects that are ready to go and will help the businesses grow, help them reach a new market, develop a new product or a new service. We funded businesses across many industries in the first 3 rounds: caterers, food trucks, salons and wellness businesses, manufacturers, marketing firms, photographers, a huge diversity, and you'll hear from 2 of them today. Both businesses that are on main streets across the state, as well as home-based businesses. Things that we have funded in the past include equipment like a fridge or a freezer or kitchen equipment to help a business expand their capacity and increase their volume. We funded things like marketing expenses to help businesses reach new markets. It could be investing in developing a new website or adding e-commerce functionality to an existing website. Could also be training for staff to offer a new service like a spa or massage studio that wants to expand into specialty areas. The most important piece in putting together your application for business owners is to explain how the particular investment will help your business grow, and also show that in the financial projections of how much you think you can grow with the investment. As part of the application, which the details are all on our website, but we ask the business to explain both what their business is, who their customers are, who their competitors are, that they are thinking robustly about their business, as well as the project that they want to invest in. And the project needs to be well thought out and defined. We ask for backup documentation with the quotes for new equipment that you want to buy or the proposal to expand your website. It really needs to be a project that you have thought through clearly and know exactly how you're going to spend that money when you get it, and how it's going to improve your business. We are also doing all we can to help support businesses through the application process. So we're holding information sessions, a couple each week through the application process, and it explains the process to applicants and the questions, and gives applicants an opportunity to ask questions. We also have our team of business advisors that's available to meet one-on-one with business owners and applicants to answer any questions they have about their particular situation and their business, and their application. And one important piece to note is that decisions on which businesses get funded are made by an external panel, not by WBDC staff. And as Fran also mentioned, once we award the businesses the grants, we're also supporting them to help their businesses thrive. We're offering them mentors, encouraging them to participate in our classes, which include topics from accounting to marketing to government contracting. And we also encourage them to meet with our business advisors to help them address the challenges and the opportunities that they face in running their business. And then we also support the businesses that applied and didn't receive funding. So we are encouraging the ones that didn't receive the grants to meet with our business advisors, take a class. We also want to support them to improve their business. We've also had businesses that were declined funding in one round, apply again in a subsequent round and get funded. So as I said, we absolutely want to support all the businesses that we can and reach as many as we can. So encourage everyone to look at our website for the details and apply by February 13th. So now,
Brenda, can I just jump in just for 1 second, because I see that Erica Moser from The Day has asked about businesses in Southeastern Connecticut. First of all, we had some great banks, including the Bank of Bratton, and we can get you the names of the banks who helped us. And we were able to help businesses. And one great business was a deli owner in Waterford. And I visited that. I want to say it's Ivy's. I could be remembering the name
No,
wrong.
you're correct.
And okay, that was pretty good. It was a while ago.
It's amazing.
But Ivy, Ivy wanted to expand her takeout business because she was in the catering business, and she had a deli, and she found that she was able to make dinners where you just put your tray in the oven. She was able to purchase a larger refrigerator, which she needed to expand this takeout business that she had. And she's done really, really well. And the community supported her throughout the pandemic, but she was able to purchase equipment that allowed her to expand her takeout business, which hadn't been a major part of what she was doing. So Erica, we'll connect you with them so you can find out how powerful it was for her.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Governor. And Joanne, Erica Moser, who is with the day, Joanne just placed in the chat a list of all the businesses in the southeastern Connecticut region.
Oh, and the other cool thing I want to say about Ivy's is Ivy provided in her deli foods that are sold by other women-owned businesses across Connecticut. So you could get those spicy nuts, Fran, remind me.
Monkey nuts.
Monkey nuts, yes, exactly. So Ivy not only was expanding her own business, but she is out there promoting products that are made by other women-owned businesses across Connecticut. It's very cool.
Thank you, Governor. You have an incredible memory, incredible recall, really. Brenda.
Yes, so now I will turn it over to Jonna Jeffcoat of Infinity Musical Therapy Services in Southington, who received a grant in December in the third round. Jonna.
Hi there. My name is Jonna Jeffco, and I'm a board certified music therapist and the owner and director of services for Infinity Music Therapy Services. I founded Infinity in 2010 with the belief that the possibilities are endless. And with a bit of creativity, tenacity, and some help from the WBDC and JP Morgan, I continue to believe the possibilities for growth we can see in people we serve and the options for therapeutic programming are indeed endless. This equity grant is allowing me to continue to push these boundaries by changing the shape in which therapy services will be offered. Music therapy is a data-based allied health profession that uses music and music-based interventions to target non-music goals and objectives. So I've been there to see a child with Down syndrome say their first words in the context of song at 9 years of age. I've seen a 16-year-old take their first steps using rhythm as their guide following a traumatic brain injury. I've watched a husband and wife bond together with the symptoms of dementia seeming just to vanish in the presence of song. And I've seen children in foster care transition from the mindset of victim to survivor through songwriting and lyric analysis. At Infinity Music Therapy Services, we work with children and adults diagnosed with developmental disabilities, mental health disorders, neurologic needs. I work in labor and delivery using music as an audio analgesic or pain management tool, and so much more. And right now we travel throughout the state working in homes, schools, correctional programs, nursing homes, daycares, and more. But there still is limitations to the therapy program we can provide due to the accessibility of space. Not everyone has a room conducive to engaging in therapy or music making. And given that we only have one clinic location in Southington that not everyone can get to, there has been an obstacle we have been working to find a solution to. This grant and the support of the WBDC has supported us with our journey in celebrating that the possibilities are truly endless. And with these grant funds, we are creating a mobile music therapy clinic. It will be the first clinic of its kind in Connecticut and only the second one in the country. We are in the process of converting a 2024 Transit that is sitting in our parking lot right now, which is really cool, into a mobile music therapy clinic. This mobile clinic will resemble one of our treatment rooms at our clinic in Southington and operate as a satellite clinic. COVID-19 has created a mental health crisis in our state, as many of us know. And as a mother of a neurodiverse child, I have watched how inaccessibility of services has impacted my son firsthand. He began to stutter. He needed help with things he had previously mastered. and he began to lose all ability to tolerate any level of frustration. But through song, he found opportunities to self-regulate through drum playing. His stuttering melted away as he sang some of his favorite songs. But me being a music therapist, I had the tools in home and the clinical skills I needed to help guide him. Not everybody has had that based upon their location in the state, and especially with COVID-19. And although Infinity Music Therapy Services has pivoted our practice to include telehealth, our community needs so much more, as the individuals we serve oftentimes don't have access to the music and the instruments we use to aid in their growth. Not everyone can travel, and telehealth is not always a viable option. We work with children and adults with complex needs that require in-person services and a safe space to engage in therapy, and our brick and mortar clinic location is not always close enough. So with this vehicle, we are loading it with keyboards, drums, shakers, guitars, and so many more materials that will provide a safe space for people to engage in the therapy process. And through the generosity of this grant, we'll be able to travel to areas of the state in which there is limited therapy programming and provide a safe space outside of the home, away from distractions, in which to engage in therapeutic instrument play for motor rehab, singing exercises for speech and language, improv for emotional expression, and the list goes on. And having a neutral space in which to process trauma is essential, and this mobile clinic will open up this option for countless people. It's going to be wheelchair accessible, have adapted instruments to help individuals with complex developmental needs engage in instrument play to build attention to task and motor skills. We're going to have specialized instruments to meet the sensory needs of our clients on the autism spectrum. We'll have technology available to make electronic music with our teenage clients, and even the instruments for the smallest of hands to help those early developmental milestones. And at full capacity, we estimate that we'll be able to serve more than 100 people every single week once we get this clinic up and running across the state. This trickle-down effect to the families, peers, and community of the individuals we are so lucky to serve is tremendous, let alone bringing a bunch of new jobs to the state of Connecticut and attracting music therapists to our state, in a state that does not have a current college program to readily produce these clinicians, making these huge impact on our community. Through this grant, we aim to strengthen community relationships, to build referral networks and systems of support. We have a 3-year plan to expand services to each corner of the state, as well as begin the framework to open additional brick and mortar satellite clinics to increase accessibility to music therapy, all through the implementation of the mobile clinic. Our current clients have achieved what is said to be impossible by some, and through this grant and our new mobile music therapy clinic, Infinity Music Therapy Services will continue to provide options for therapy without limitations, because Infinity Music Therapy Services and my clinicians are leaders in healthcare. We are beyond thankful for the generosity of this grant, the WBDC's guidance, and we are excited to see how many lives that this donation will impact.
Oh my goodness, Jonna, I'm like overwhelmed and so proud of you, and so proud of the team at WBDC. And if I know the Lieutenant Governor, she's going to be calling up the Chancellor of Higher Education in Connecticut right now and telling them that we need to get a music therapy certification of some kind. So that's just so impressive. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you. And I hope that the mobile therapy van makes it down to Fairfield County and all the corners of the state. Thank you so much for your work.
It's in the plans. Take a Connecticut by storm. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
WBDC. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Donna. Next, I would like to introduce another client, Kinvisha Boyd of Quality Counseling in Hamden, who received a grant in May in our second round. Kinvisha. You're muted.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, as I was saying, it is really a pleasure and an honor to be here. You know, I could go on for days and days about the gift of WBDC. I really say that WBDC has been the gift that literally just keeps on giving. So I was referred to WBDC actually by my accountant, and I was really in a tough space. So Quality Counseling is a group practice, and we're located in Hamden, and our mission is to resolve and reduce the negative impact of racial discrimination and trauma within the Black community. So some of the problems with Black people being able to access mental health treatment is there's a lack of mental health providers who are culturally sensitive, and mental health therapy currently is not affordable. And so that leaves a lot of the Black community suffering to deal with the heavy burden of intergenerational trauma. Then there's the burden of systematic trauma, and then there's the burden of individualized trauma. So again, what that really creates is a really big service gap, and it continues to enhance the disproportionate rate that Black people are diagnosed with PTSD and struggle with trauma. So the practice was established in 2017, where it was part-time. And then in 2019, I took the leap of faith and decided to dive into full-time entrepreneurship. I'm a first-generation college student, first-generation entrepreneur. And while grad school did a really good job of teaching me how to be a therapist, they did not teach me a lot about how to scale and grow a business. And so another problem that the practice has is actually a problem that most businesses would like, which is we have a wait list. So I have about 50 people currently on a wait list who are seeking a culturally sensitive, affordable mental health services. And it really saddens me that I can't provide a therapist to everybody who wants one. And our wait list on average is anywhere between 6 months to a year. So the blessing of WBDC has been when I was awarded the additional funding, I was able to develop my website. I was also able to recruit and onboard some staff. I've been able to help some of our employees train in EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is a mouthful, but the Veterans Affairs has notes EMDR as the most effective and quickest treatment for PTSD. And so as I'm establishing the practice and hiring other therapists, it really was important that us as a team, that we were able to be trained in evidence-based trauma-informed treatment, because again, the burden of trauma is heavy, and we really want to be able to provide effective treatment to our clients. So that means a lot, that we can also value our clients, we can value our employees, and I was able to provide some professional development to the clients. Where else can I begin? So the mentorship of WBDC has been amazing. And I do want to take some time to say, you know, WBDC has really been a huge and strong sense of community, even from a personal standpoint. So in June, I was a part of a natural disaster, and I had an apartment fire where I lost almost 80% of everything. And the WBD staff had reached out to me. It was kind enough to make an additional personal donation. It was even willing to orchestrate a donation for some household appliances. And I cannot emphasize enough how much that really meant to me. So here it was, me connecting with the WBDC for professional and business development. And here I was in this very tragic personal experience, and they were there. The staff was there, and I'm grateful. So the impact of the funds has been really meaningful and significant. We have doubled our monthly revenue. I've been able to hire 2 additional therapists. One of those therapists has officially been trained in EMDR. And from my marketing gurus. So with the website development, I was able to hire our professional writer to write 4 specialty pages. And one of those specialty pages is a racial trauma page. And I'd like to say that our racial trauma page is on page 1 of Google, which is a very big deal. And I'm excited about that. And so again, I could go on, and I will conclude and sum up with, again, WBDC has been a blessing. I don't know if I would have had the ability in terms of education or funding to scale my business to the next level. And here I am, and the training and the support is continued. In trainings last week, we went to a handbook training, so I'm looking forward to updating my handbook. And I'm excited and grateful to be a part of the team and the community, and I love it here.
Wow, thank you so much, Amnesia. That was just heartwarming and really, brought tears to my eyes. I mean, thank you so much. Both of you are just outstanding, and so well spoken. And thank you so much for sharing your personal journeys with us. We're going to open it up if there are any questions from anybody who's joining us today. Please ask questions. You can find us also at www.ctwbdc.org. You can learn more about the Equity Match Grant Program online. You can learn about our childcare program online, but most importantly, please help us get the word out that this application process is active, that it closes on February 13th. We are really excited to, JP Morgan Chase has been a funder of WBDC since inception, and we are so filled with gratitude that we became connected with you, Rafia and Janique, and your team, and that you recognized the value in our work, and now you're hearing it firsthand from clients. So I hope that you know that you made a very good investment and that we're very good stewards of dollars. I will also share with everyone on this call today that not a single dollar of what came into this organization intended to be dispersed to the communities did not get dispersed into the communities. There was virtually no money taken for any kind of overhead or administration from the funds that were earmarked for grants directly to the community. And when the Lieutenant Governor talked about the match earlier, we call it an equity match grant program because it actually is a match. The clients that receive the funds have to match it with their own funds at a minimum of 25%. During the height of COVID, when this program was conceived, at that time, we were the recipients of funds from the federal government to be used to respond to the COVID crisis, and we used those funds to expand our outreach. And during that crisis, our clientele increased by 650%. And so the third piece of that match is the great state of Connecticut, who, again, with the Lieutenant Governor's help and persuasiveness and perseverance, helped recognize the importance of this program, and through our Department of Economic and Community Development has matched our funds, and we are very hopeful that they will, and optimistic that they will continue to do so. So with that, if there are any media inquiries, please reach out to Joanne Golbin at ggolbin, it's in the chat, at ctwbdc.org, or of course myself. Our email addresses are on our website, which is also posted in the chat. And I'd like to just thank Rafia. Thank you so much again for joining us. And if you have any closing remarks that you would like to share.
I just want to share how profoundly impacted I feel by the stories I've heard from Jonah and Kavechna as they've talked about the impact of the grant and what that's meant for their businesses. I think it's easy for us on the philanthropic side to kind of see like the work that you're doing, understand it, but actually hearing it from grant recipients is really where we start to understand the longer term impacts in the community. And our hope at JP Morgan Chase is really to make sure that we get a lot of applications into this fourth cycle and really start to build out even a larger community of stories where the WBDC is able to support women-owned businesses across the state of Connecticut and increase that number from 52 towns to hopefully 75 towns to hopefully at some point all towns within greater Connecticut. And thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you for your generosity and for your vision to really help us expand this. Governor, would you like to add any remarks?
So I do, and what I want to say, because I thought that Jana and Kavechna were just so powerful in what they talked about. So many of the businesses that the equity match grants have assisted are out there helping families with critical needs. So in Kavechna's mama, or who have mental illness, in Jana's case, it's kids, adults that are struggling. And she has created a business that lifts up kids and families. And, I could just go down the list of some of the businesses that I've been honored to visit. And each of the businesses has an equally powerful story about how they help families and communities in our state. And what I know is this, that the bottom line is for every dollar that any one of us invests in a women-owned business in our state, dollar stays right within the communities, because women-owned businesses are employing people, they're supporting their families, they're buying goods and services for their businesses right in our communities. So there's no better way to grow jobs and to help our economy than by supporting women-owned businesses. So I think just, and the two that you've heard from are just very emblematic of the wonderful businesses that 56 that account for 56% of an increase, those great women-owned businesses in our state.
Thank you, Governor, so much. Thanks for your leadership, not only for WBDC, but in our state. Governor Lamont is lucky to have you as his partner. So thank you.
Thanks.
Brenda, any closing remarks? Any last words of encouragement to get people to help us amplify this message?
Yeah, just to say thank you all again. And, as everyone has said, it was so inspiring to hear from Jonna and Kevnisha the stories of their business, and also how they use the grant opportunity to think creatively about their business as a business and how they could use that to grow. And so would encourage other small business owners to think about their business in that way, and what are the investments that they can make with this amount of money, with the grants, that will help them expand and reach even more people, whether it's children and adults with disabilities, or people struggling with trauma, or people with hungry bellies that need to eat and want food from a restaurant, or whatever their business is, but to think about how they can grow and scale their business with a small capital investment. So thank you all. This has really been inspiring, and a huge thank you to the WBDC team that works with Fran and I to make all of this happen and provide the classes and the business advising and all of the great services that you heard about from Kevnisha and Jonah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
thank you so much.
everyone.
Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Jonah and Kevnisha, thank you so much. Rafia, thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful week and stay warm. Thank you.
Thank you.